There's a hidden world teeming with life, and it's not in some distant jungle or the deep ocean. It's much, much closer to home. Sometimes it's even inside us. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the, unsettling but also fascinating world of human parasites.
So let me just start with a question that might make you shift in your seat a little bit. What if you're not the only one living in your body? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie, right? But for millions of people, it's not fiction at all. It's a daily biological reality.
So, what exactly are we dealing with here? Well, a parasite is basically an organism that sets up camp on or inside another living thing. We call that the host. It has one really simple goal: get food and survive. But here's the catch: it's almost always at the host's expense.
To really understand these creatures, we're going to open up our own rogues gallery. We'll go through and profile some of the most common, and let's be honest, notorious unseen invaders that can make a home right inside of us.
First up in our gallery is a true classic, a villain whose name alone is probably enough to make you shudder. Let's meet the tapeworm.
So just picture this: a long, ribbon-like flatworm made up of all these tiny segments. Its head is, wow, it's a marvel of sinister engineering. It's got hooks and suckers designed for one single purpose: to latch on tight inside an intestine. They get their start inside animals like pigs, cows, or fish, just waiting for their chance.
And that waiting game definitely pays off for them. The whole invasion kicks off when someone eats raw or undercooked meat from an infected animal. Once inside the human gut, the eggs hatch into larvae, which then burrow into the intestinal walls to form cysts. Over about 2 months, these cysts mature into adults, and then the brand new tapeworm starts producing its own eggs, ready to start the whole creepy cycle all over again.
Now, you might be thinking you'd know right away if this was happening inside you, but symptoms can take months or even years to show up. They can be as mild as a little nausea and belly pain, or as dramatic as significant weight loss. The fish tapeworm can actually cause anemia by absorbing your vitamin B12. But the pork tapeworm, its larvae can travel all the way to the brain, forming cysts that can trigger seizures and vision problems. It's a condition called cysticercosis, and it is serious.
So how long do you think an adult tapeworm can get? The answer is pretty astounding. Some can grow to be over 80 feet long. To put that into perspective, that is longer than a bowling lane inside a person. And it's not just their length that's impressive, it's their incredible resilience. A single tapeworm can survive for up to 30 years inside its host, just quietly thriving at your expense.
All right, next up in our rogues gallery is a creature that's much smaller, but believe me, no less formidable. Let's talk about the hookworm.
So unlike the tapeworm, the hookworm is a slender, kind of thread-like creature. It gets its name from its really distinctive hook-shaped mouth, which it uses to clamp right onto the intestine. They absolutely thrive in hot, moist climates, which is where most infections happen. The hookworm's method of invasion is completely different. It doesn't wait to be eaten. Nope. Its larvae live in contaminated soil and can burrow directly through bare human skin. From there, they go on this incredible journey through the bloodstream to the lungs. The host then coughs them up, swallows them, and they finally arrive in the small intestine to mature. It's wild. The first signs of a hookworm invasion usually start with a rash where the larvae got in, but the real damage, that happens inside. As they feed on blood, they cause anemia and protein deficiency, and this is especially dangerous for children, where getting infected again and again can lead to impaired physical growth and even mental development. And this is not a minor issue. Just take a look at this number. It's estimated that as many as 740 million people worldwide have a hookworm infection. This isn't some rare tropical disease. It's a massive global health challenge. Our next 2 entries in the gallery are some of the most common intruders of all, especially when it comes to kids. Let's talk about roundworms and pinworms. Okay, so let's compare them. Roundworms can grow up to 14 inches long, and you get them from contaminated soil, food, or water. They can cause really serious intestinal blockages. Pinworms, on the other hand, are tiny, like pin-shaped. Getting infected is as simple as touching a contaminated surface and then your mouth. And the telltale sign? Intense itching, especially at night. And that's because the female worm literally emerges to lay her eggs. The reproductive power of the roundworm is just staggering. A single female can lay over 200,000 eggs per day. It's just incredible. The life cycle is complex too.
Eggs get swallowed, they hatch in the intestines, migrate to the lungs, and are then swallowed again to mature in the gut, where they can live for up to 2 years.
And if you think pinworms are some rare problem, think again. In children, pinworm infections are roughly 3 times more common than head lice. That's right, it's an incredibly widespread issue.
Okay, after profiling all these invaders, the most important question is, what can we do about them? So let's turn to our prevention guide and see how to build up our defenses.
And here's the good news. Prevention is pretty straightforward, and it's highly effective. It really all comes down to basic hygiene. First up, wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Then, think about what you eat. Cook meat all the way through and wash all your produce. And finally, protect your body. Wear shoes in high-risk areas and keep your fingernails trimmed to avoid creating a direct highway for parasite eggs to your mouth.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. It's a bit of a creepy world to explore, for sure, but it leaves us with a final thought. In this constant, quiet battle against these unseen invaders, is it possible that simply knowing they exist and how they operate is our single most powerful weapon?